Hello, welcome to Give Me Sport. We are live. I'm Terry from the Football Terrace. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you all this morning. There is so much to talk about. Paris Saint-Germain beating Manchester United last night. Olivier Giroud, 4 goals in the Champions League. Who saw that one coming? There's a big game this weekend to focus on as well. The North London derby has arrived and Arsenal appear to be in the mud. Tottenham flying high at the top of the league, but Harry Kane may be out injured. I know we have a lot of viewers here on GMS who love Real Madrid. You're looking at going out of the Champions League early. What's going on with Zinedine Zidane? Will Eden Hazard ever turn up? Will he ever arrive as a Real Madrid player? We want to hear from you this morning as well. And PSG were brilliant last night. Neymar had a great game. He basically said he'd like a bit of like to be reunited, potentially with Neymar. Is he going to return to Barcelona? We want to hear from you. Lots of subjects on the agenda today. I want your views and opinion, but make sure you smash that like button first of all. That's so important for you to do. Hit that like button. Also share this stream right now with your friends and your family on social media. Very important that we get that done. It really is. If you want to call into the show, the link is in the post for our Discord server, so you can come and follow that now. You can give us a call via Discord. We want to hear your views and we want to hear your opinions as well, because listen, what I've got to say might be important to a few people, but what you, the audience, care about is really important as well. If you don't know me, as I say, I'm Terry Flewers from the Football Terrace. Come check us out over on YouTube later on today. Just search Football Terrace, easy to find us as it were. But I want to start with last night's game. It's on everybody's lips. It's on everybody's agenda. Man United. I'm a United fan, full disclosure. I'm a Manchester United fan. And from my point of view, it was a very disappointing night. It was a very disappointing night because from my perspective, I felt like United had the game in their hand. Manchester United were in a position where we went a goal down. Opening 20 minutes, there's no doubt about it. Paris Saint-Germain were the better team. Cannot be denied. But United showed great resilience and they got themselves back into the game. And then were handed the biggest slice of luck. Huge slice of luck. Fred should have been sent off. He quite literally gave a Glasgow kiss to, I don't even know the Paris Saint-Germain player. Forgive me. Don't know who he is. Should have been sent off. We're given that little boost. We're given that little touch, as it were. And you think, right, okay, well, what are we going to do from now? What's going to happen now? United get back into the game. Man like Marcus Rashford with his 6th goal in the Champions League puts us back in it. The second half begins, and they had a really good shape, by the way, in the first half, PSG. 4-4-1-1 when they're out of possession. It gave us very little room in behind. It made it very hard to get the ball into Bruno Fernandes. And they kind of nullified us. But we started to take control. Second half, we had them on toast. We were cutting them apart. On the left-hand side. Cutting them apart. And on the right-hand side, sorry. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, we can do this. We had 2 great chances. Martial misses them both. And you think, oh, well, okay. But let's keep going. Let's persevere. And look, Paris Saint-Germain get themselves back in front with a good goal. And then Fred inexplicably gets himself sent off. Ollie in the mud with this one, no doubt about it, because Fred should have been taken off. We go back to that luck. He was walking a tightrope. Should have been taken off. Pogba or Donny should have come onto the football pitch. And look, in the end, Paris Saint-Germain go on to win the game. 3 points. It makes the final match week for RB Leipzig, PSG and Man United is basically knockout football now. So there's an air of excitement for everybody in relation to that. But overall, a disappointing display, I think, in the end by Manchester United. But I want to hear from you. The Man United fans or rivals watching. Where does the blame lie last night? Is it a collective issue? Martial's big misses, Fred being sent off, Ollie's naivety coming back into play? Or do you put this all at the hands of Fred or all at the hands of the manager? I want to know. I want to hear from you. I want your thoughts and your feelings on this. It's very important to us to know. As I say, make sure you're hitting that like and share button as well. Get in contact with us via the Discord server. We want to hear from you. Give us a call. Get yourself on. Over 200 of you watching right now. I can see that there. Someone's put a crying emoji. What's going on? What's going on? That might be my dad watching. Who's put that on there. Oh, I'm proud. He texted me this morning. I'm proud of what you're doing. There we go. Let's see some of your live comments as well. Live comments are very, very important to us. Nathan here says, Man United lack experience. They lack leaders. They lack an identity in their play. They're miles off. Do you know what? Last night, I think that's absolutely true. Last night, Man United completely and utterly in the mud in relation to that. I agree with you on that one. There's no doubt about it. United, there was naivety there last night. Massive naivety. Hello, Annabelle. Hope you're well. Hello to man like Jem in the live comments here. Jem is in the house. Obviously, you know Jem from the Football Terrace. He's there quite a bit. He's a Chelsea fan. He's absolutely buzzing after what they did last night. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. What I'm going to do for you, because I'm not too sure whether it's in the description of this call, I'm going to share in the comment section the link for the Discord server so you can come on and have your say. You can give the show a call as well, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you right about now because I like taking calls. I like speaking to people. Matt here says, too many players thinking they are bigger than the club. Matt, do you know what? I hear what you're saying. But what I want to say to you is, I'm just sharing, by the way, the Discord server in the live chat. You'll see it from myself there, Terry Fleurs. That is my personal account, by the way. My personal Facebook. There's nothing, no content on there. That's just me posting pictures with cats and dogs and my kids. So nothing exciting going on over there. I get what you're saying, but who do you think, Matt? And I want to ask you this directly, Matt. Who, in your opinion, think is bigger thinks they're bigger than the club? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know from you all as it stands right now. Over 200 of you watching. Make sure you're smashing that like and share button. I want to talk Real Madrid. I want to talk Real Madrid as well. I want to speak Real Madrid this morning. We will go on to Olivier Giroud in a little bit more time as well. But I want to talk about Real Madrid because what's going wrong? I mean this genuinely. What is going on right now at the club? Because domestically, it doesn't look great. It's down under a lot of pressure. And there's always pressure on the Real Madrid manager, no doubt. But the Champions League. I mean, look, Man United, we can understand this. We've got the Glazers in charge, awful owners. We've got the PE teacher in Ollie in charge. Makes it difficult. However, what is the excuse? Legitimately, what is the excuse for Real Madrid? Top players, a manager that's won 3 Champions Leagues on the bounce. What is the reason that it isn't working, that it's clicking for you? I want to understand that. I'm not close to European football. I'm not. You'll see this with me. Our journey on Give Me Sport is starting together. I don't ever claim to be this connoisseur of European football. I actually got a pet peeve, if I'm being honest with you. I have this genuine pet peeve of people that don't watch European football, pretend they do. So what is actually going wrong in relation to Real Madrid right now? I want to know. And Chelsea fans, Olivier Giroud, 4 goals last night. 4 goals. That's massive. Huge. 4 goals. Should he be starting more games? Tammy Abraham was getting a hell of a lot of stick. A hell of a lot of stick at the weekend for his performance for Chelsea. So, what are you saying? Olivier Giroud? If you're going to be playing Timo Werner on the left, should Olivier Giroud be starting through the middle? Also, North London Derby. We're talking about the North London Derby. I want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling in relation to that as well. We've got some more comments coming through here in the live chat. Edmund here says, it's a collective issue last night. And for everyone putting the blame fully on Ollie, they have an agenda. Martial shocking and should have scored. Fred should have been subbed earlier. And Ollie should have made changes before we went down. And you know what? I do get that. I do get where you're coming from when you say that. It is a collective, and putting it all on Ollie is wrong, because there were certain players out there last night that should have been finishing their dinner. You're absolutely right. Ryan here, man, like Stro in the house in the comments section, says Real Madrid, the forward line isn't the standard it was. Midfield getting older, and Zidane is getting his subs wrong in big games. We've got another comment here about Madrid. It says, for Madrid, I honestly think it's the management of the team is poorly run, same as Manchester United. It's interesting, though, with Zidane, isn't it? He won 3 Champions Leagues back-to-back. He's won league titles. So he's clearly not Look, when you say same as Man United, are you talking at the hierarchy, the management level of the club, or you're talking coaching? Nathan here in the comments said, Real Madrid's top players are all aging. They lost Ronaldo and now Bale and replaced them with players who are nowhere near the same quality. That could also be part of it. And you'll probably find that's the most logical reason, Nathan. You'll probably find that is the most logical reason. Jeff Jukes here. Jeff Jukes in the house says, should have got Poch. Simples. Dad. Full disclosure, Jeff Jukes is my dad. A Spurs fan. Listen, Poch is a top manager. But this is a question for the audience. There's part of me that's excited about the prospect of Poch joining Man United. But is Poch really the answer for United and or Real Madrid? Has he done enough to warrant it? That's the big question. Richard White here says, I think Poch would fit in well. I hear that. Stephen Hughes here says, the city is cold and wet and depressing for foreign players. The pitch is boggy and all of them are they're not strong enough. What are you talking about, mate? What? That Stephen Hughes, it's one of the weirdest comments I've seen on socials. What do you mean? Not strong enough? Did you see how good Cavani was last night? Did you see how good Terrace was last night? What do you mean? Do you know people? You do realize that, like, let's just say Italy. You know, Italy. Lots of parts of Italy in the winter are colder than the UK, right? There's some Brits think like Spain and Italy are just hot and sunny all year round. What about Victor Lindelof? Do you know how cold his country is? Do you know how cold Sweden is? It's cold, bruv. It's cold. That's why they've all got blonde hair. That's not true. They all got blonde hair. It's cold though. That's true. Sorry, I always find comments like that funny. Zidane is helpless, as there is no replacement for those that had left and others are misfiring. That element is certainly true. There is no replacement for people that have left. You can't get yourselves away from that. You can't get yourself away from that at all. We're going to take our first caller of the day. We're going to see whether the tech is working. David, are you with us? Not sure if he is yet. I need to wait to there he is. David, you there?
I can hear you now.
Perfect, David. You're a Chelsea fan, as we know. What are you ringing to speak about this morning?
I actually want to talk about Man United.
Yep.
I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to not get through. Simply because, you know, when like you beat Leipzig, what was it, 5-0?
Yes.
They're going to go into that game thinking like revenge. And you tend to see it a lot when teams lose 5, 6, 7-0. Normally in the return fixture, it doesn't obviously plan out the same way. I mean, big examples come to mind. Southampton lost 9-0 to Leicester. The next game they played, they actually beat Leicester 2-1. Like,
yeah, no,
I don't see. There's just this bit of me that's like they're gonna go into that game and it's like, oh, Upamecano, he's been suspended because of the yellow card. They don't have Werner like they did last year, and there's just so many factors that go against them. I just have this feeling they might beat you.
Do you know what? I won't sleep as a Man. I can speak here as a United fan. I'm not sleeping on RB. This is knockout football now. So there's a great element of excitement. But I want to make sure I say this in the right way. I'm not scared of them. And the reason I say that is they will allow us space to do what we do best, to counter-attack into. And they'll leave space in behind because they're going to have to go for the win. A draw's no good for them. We just need to be clinical. And my only fear at the moment is Anthony Martial, because the geezer can't finish his dinner. Like, legitimately, he cannot finish his dinner right now. And it's frustrating because he is a very good player. He's just in really bad form. And Ollie has to make a decision on this, because if Rashford or Cavani or Bruno would have been presented with the chances he got last night, in my view, they bury them. And what happens to football players, as we know, is they snatch. As soon as you become under pressure and it's like, I've got to score soon, they start snatching. That's why I think for most strikers, opening couple of games of the season, it's important to get yourself on the score sheet. It relieves that pressure. And every game he goes now without putting the ball in the back of the net, you just see this increased pressure upon him. But I hear what you're saying about Leipzig. I'm confident we can go through, but this is no foregone conclusion. And I think it would be gutting. It would be gutting, and we'd be in the mud to win our opening 2 games against PSG and Leipzig and then go out. It will be embarrassing.
Yeah, it would be. Also, I'd say on Chelsea, I always say it, but people don't like to hear it. Giroud should be starting above Tammy. It should be. But if you start Tammy in games, for me, Giroud's the better option. Just because Tammy just doesn't use his like Tammy has attributes that could be really useful for a striker, but for some reason he doesn't really use them as well. I mean, obviously Giroud's got more experience, but Tammy barely uses it anyway. Like, for me, I've always said like Giroud should start, but this weekend against Leeds, we finally have the opportunity to play our best front three, and I'm a big advocate of when your best players are fit, play them.
Yeah. Do you know what I would say, right, about Olivier Giroud? He is one of these football players one of these strikers, I should say, because he's not a prolific goal scorer generally. I know, he scored 4. He did score 4 last night, but the reason it was so shocking is because it was Giroud. You know, if Timo had done it or someone like that, you'd go, well, we know he's a class finisher. But Giroud has skills that are, in my opinion, completely underappreciated by the majority of football fans. His link-up play and his hold-up play. You get a lot of... Lukaku was like it at Man United because he was 6 foot plus, because he's a physical specimen. People just assumed, he'll be good at hold-up play, he'll control it, he'll be able to hold people off. Not everybody's good at using their physicality. I used to feel like I feel the same with Tammy. For a man his size, I feel he gets bullied too easily off the ball. And Olivier Giroud is the other end of the spectrum, where he's almost impossible to shake off the ball, and it helps bring people. He's underrated, but he was one of the biggest reasons that France won the World Cup. Without being the standout star, I felt he was absolutely imperative. But big game for you. I know you guys obviously won 4-0. It went a little. It's mad, really. Man scored 4 goals in the Champions League, and nobody was watching because of the United Paris Saint-Germain game. But even yourself, didn't you say last night that once you went 2-0 up, you turned over?
Yeah, after it went 2-0, because I was like, Sevilla won't score 2 goals against us. We're actually a good defensive team now, which is weird to say after last year. But yeah, no, we seem to be a good defensive team. I mean, Rudiger and Christensen kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, no.
Again, it's the goal. The goalkeeper was the most glaring thing that had to change, and we've changed it, and it looks better. With no surprise. So.
No, I hear that, mate. David, thank you very much for calling in, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, buddy.
No problem.
Thank you very, very much. We're going to have Kobe on the show in a few moments. He's going to call in. He's going to come have his say. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the call. Make sure you're hitting that like button, ladies and gentlemen. That is so important to us. Hitting the like button, sharing this on your timeline right now. I can't tell you enough how important that is to us here. It really, really is. I'm going to answer this call now. I'm going to try and make this work technically. Let me just make sure I'm doing this correctly. It's connected to the roadcaster. Kobe, you there?
I'm here.
There we go. I can hear you. I was just making sure I was getting the sound through. Okay, I'm good. How are you this morning?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Good.
Yeah, sorry. I've got a bit of a bone to pick with a few Manchester United fans, I think, Terry.
Go for it.
I'm not happy with the criticism that's been raining in for Solskjaer, to be honest. It feels like it only takes one defeat for the PE teacher tweets to come rolling in. I mean, maybe I'm just getting old, but as the standard of PE teachers gone through the roof or something, is Mr. Watkins from Wigan coaching 12-year-olds to a Champions League standard. I think it's really easy to say in hindsight that Fred should have been subbed off, but his recklessness with the second yellow card is on him, not the manager. He was imitating Zidane 1 minute and Roy Keane the next, but not in a good way. I don't think managers like Klopp and Guardiola would be getting the same blame if they were keeping on Fred. I think Man United fans are just only ever one mistake away from driving the knife into Solskjaer.
You are right on that. I mean, hindsight, we all know, is a very lucrative commodity, and I felt that Fred should have been substituted. However, in my match review last night, and the more of you calm down as a United fan the next morning, this is on Fred. I read a statistic last night that said something like less than 1% of booked football players get sent off. So the risk that Ollie was taking statistically was a 1 in 100 chance of the player, which is pretty. Do you know what I mean? They're not odds that are unfavourable. That's a case of Fred don't do nothing stupid, and he did. And I think the problem is with some Man United. One thing is, there's a lot of United fans that pretend to be United fans on social media. I call them out on this all the time. I call them fake Reds. They don't love the club. They love particular players. And what you'll find, if you delve into it as much as I have, a lot of these big, especially the big social accounts, I can tell you their 3 favourite players. One of them's Pogba, that had nothing much to do with last night, but the other 2 are Fred and Martial. So what you find happens a lot is if, as players, Martial and Fred carry much of the blame for the loss last night, which I think they do, you'll find, again, there'll be an exaggeration. There'll be an exaggeration on how much it's Ollie's fault because they try and defer away from it being down to them. But last night for me was a collective. I do think there were some issues with Ollie. There were definitely misses from Martial, definitely from Fred. But you're absolutely right. I couldn't believe it. We finished streaming on the Football Terrace, and then I went onto Twitter and I saw Ollie out trending, and I thought, yes, we lost 3-1, but we weren't 3-1 bad. There weren't that much difference in the teams, in my opinion, over the course of the 90 minutes. There was just a mistake from one player getting himself sent off, and then we missed our chances and they finished them. So now I completely agree with you on that. Why do you think there is that overreaction, though, Kobe, from Man United fans? What is sort of leading to that?
I think it's just that he doesn't really have that name status he carries with him. And I think regardless of the result last night, I think what worries me is that United are stuck in the same cycle since they sacked David Moyes of backing a manager, qualifying for the Champions League, failing to back the manager, sack the manager, and then repeat. I mean, like Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. I just didn't know Einstein had a season ticket at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, again, sort of a lot of what I went back and found a video of mine from 2 years ago, and I went back 4 years ago, and I've been saying it. I was very much, this is when Moyes was in charge. It's Moyes' fault. He's ruining us as a club. We're 4 managers deep now. We're 4 managers deep, and if you believe that Ollie's a failed manager, focusing on getting him out is irrelevant to me, because the people that have picked 4 failed managers on the bounce are picking the next guy. That should be the focus. And I know people say, oh, well, we can't get rid of the board. We can't make changes happen. I don't believe in this sort of nonsense. I don't believe in it. And even if you can't make the changes, why focus all your energy on the sort of the manager or a particular player? We either scapegoat a player or we scapegoat a manager. And the one common denominator in all of this is the way we've been run as a football club since 2005. But what's really the chickens have really come home to roost since Fergie left and David Gill left, and more control went to the board, as it were. And look, Ollie, of course, has made mistakes like every other manager. But I remember in January of 2020, this year, we'd lost back-to-back games to Liverpool and Burnley. And when that happened, it was when all the stats came out of, as the permanent manager of Man United, his win ratio was 38%. And I remember the same Ollie out as like, he has to improve. He needs to improve that or he's going to be sacked. Since that point until now, we've played 41 games, which is more games than he played as permanent manager at that point. And our win percentage is in the high 60s now. So he's almost doubled. He's almost doubled his win ratio in that time, yet that is still not good enough. We've won 8 away games on the bounce in the Premier League. That is not good enough. Over the last 40 games of football, over the last 28 games of football, we've won more than across all competitions. We've won more than any other team in the Premier League. Now, we have to improve further. There is no doubt about that. But what they don't want to ever do is recognise the progression. And as you say, one defeat and the toys get thrown out of the pram. And it's a shame, really, because I think the one thing, I'm a United fan, but what I like about Liverpool supporters is they have their teams back. They don't allow this kind of conversation to happen. They kind of shut the fires down very, very early. With us, we're the opposite end of the spectrum. We're so broken and divided. It's all just about attack. I'll attack these 2 players, but I won't attack these. I'll go for the manager, but I won't touch the board. It's all very weird to me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more there, really.
I want to speak North London derby, if you don't mind. Obviously, a big game coming up this weekend. Tottenham are flying high. Arsenal, I mean, they are really struggling at the moment to even score goals, to keep clean sheets, to look kind of cohesive. How do you see this game going?
I see it going Tottenham's way, to be honest, which, as an Arsenal fan, is not something that I like readily to admit. I think after watching the Tottenham documentary, Jose Mourinho has really grown on me a lot. And credit to Daniel Levy for really backing them in the transfer market. And I think they're really starting to see the benefits, particularly in terms of their defence. Whereas on the flip side with Arsenal, I mean, it's a bit of a colander at the back, really. It's leaking and we can't bail it out quick enough. And even at the other end, with Aubameyang stapled to the left wing, we're really struggling to produce goals. As much as I do want to back Arsenal to win, obviously, I wouldn't if I was a betting man.
Yeah, I feel the same as you. Obviously, not from an Arsenal fan's point of view. It's the next 6 games, though, for Arsenal that's interesting. And I have started to see on social media the kind of murmurings of, is Arteta good enough? Is it his fault? Arteta out? And of course, as a United fan, I'm gonna push on that agenda because I find it hilarious. And that's the thing. We spoke about United fans. We attack our own easily. I've always been brought up to, you go for your rivals, you banter your rivals with nonsense, and it's fun to do it to them, not to do it to your own. How do you see these next 6 games going? Because the North London derby is one thing. You've got Burnley after that, which on paper is an easy game, but you've got to play Everton. You've got to play Chelsea in the coming weeks. I mean, how many of these next 6 games do you actually think you can sort of win and yield points in?
Well, I think you'll actually be quite surprised. I think the strange thing about the sort of Arteta regime is that we do actually pick up quite impressive results. I think the win at Old Trafford was maybe slightly underplayed at the time because you were fresh from being thrashed 6-1 by Tottenham. But we seem to have this bizarre knack of when the chips are down and where a defensive style suits Arsenal better, that we do pick up good results. So actually, the more scary the fixture schedule looks, the more actually lose. Yeah. Whereas, maybe the North London derby is something else we might win. So it's hard to say. 50-50 really at the moment. Win one, lose one.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think that this next 6 games is going to be absolutely huge for Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. And as you say, you beat Tottenham, beat Burnley, get a good result in there against Chelsea, and you know what will happen. The mood will just feel. The mood will be lifted. People will calm down, etc. It's if you walk away from it. We had a caller yesterday on the Football Terrace that said that he doesn't see Arsenal winning more than 1 game. He thinks 3 points in the next 6 games is what his prediction was, which is quite a morbid prediction. I mean, that will be a major problem. But as you say, we'll see. I mean, I've got the more the week goes on, the more I feel you're going to beat Tottenham. It just feels, sort of derbies. And I remember this being a United fan when I was younger. We were always better than Liverpool, but they always seem to turn up for the derby. And you're not as good as Tottenham right now, but I just think that may go in your favour come the weekend, but we will see. Kobe, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
No worries. Cheers, Terry.
Lovely. Speak to you again soon. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
That was Kobe there. We're going to take some more calls here on we can take some calls on Discord if we can. Not not every. Some people are trying to call in, but it isn't letting them. I'm going to try and call people to see if that works. I'll call out in the other direction. CSC Gem wants to come on the show and have his say. Tim here says that caller was spot on. Yeah, he made some really good points. He definitely did. Sam Tonks here in the comments section says Arsenal have been good as underdogs under Arteta. Can see a sneaky 2-1 if we move back to the 5-2-3. And that could happen. That could happen. Give us a call now. Get yourself on the air. I'm not too sure why you can't all call in on Discord. Most of you can do it, okay? I have posted the link. I'll keep posting it into the comment section. Come follow us on our Discord server. Give us a call. Prime, are you there?
And see a sneaky.
Prime, turn off the stream in the background because it'll pick it all up if you're calling through your computer.
Oh, my bad.
There we go. No problem.
Is it good, yeah?
Yeah, that's perfect. Prime. Good morning, buddy. What do you want to say?
Morning. I just want to speak about Chelsea's performance yesterday. Especially with the lineup that we put out, a bit of a weakened one, and the performance and the result that we got against Sevilla. Those are the type of games and those are the type of performances that I want to be seeing now from Frank Lampard. Because,
Yes.
like I keep saying, we have these. I keep saying under the terrace, we have these stretch of games now against tough opposition. Started with Spurs, Sevilla, got to play Leeds, Everton, City, Leicester soon, and Arsenal. I want to be seeing something in these big games that we can not only compete with these sides but dominate them.
Yeah, I mean, that's last night reminded me. I watched the extended highlights back. Last night, Chelsea reminded me of Chelsea of old. Just a technically good team, but strong, dominant, powerful. And it's no surprise that Frank Lampard is trying to create that, because that when he and Chelsea were at their pomp, they were just animals, but could ball. And that for me is something. Man United were the same. Our best team under Fergie, they were men. They were strong. They were aggressive. They were combative, but they could play football. And I really think Frank Lampard is developing that. I felt we got a lot of disrespect last year from people. Look, put banter aside. Banter's always going to be. He could be the best manager in the world, and he'll get people still criticize Fergie and Pep and Jose after all they've done. So Lampard's going to get that. But overall, I think he's doing an absolutely tremendous job at Chelsea Football Club. You know, he's got the 4-3-3 hexagon going on, and that shape is just causing people problems because it's strong. It's the multiple triangles that come with it, and then on top of that, you've got the brilliance. And I mean, what's your thoughts on Olivier Giroud? Should he now start at the weekend after scoring 4 goals in the Champions League in one game?
No, man of the match by far for Giroud. Yes, especially if Pulisic, I know he played last night, but I don't know if he's still 100%. Because he didn't really come on against Spurs, did he? I would start with Giroud. He's earned a spot by far. The only reason why Giroud wasn't getting in the team earlier this season was because, again, Tammy earned his spot and he deserved to play. But after that subpar game against Spurs, and obviously Giroud now getting not just a hat-trick, but 4 goals. Yeah, he has to start.
Of course. And look, you want that level of competition, Prime, within your team as well. And I think players earning a spot in the starting lineup based on merit, based on performance, is so key. It really it is key. But Prime, thank you very much for coming on, having your say, mate. Really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Next up on the show, we're going to have man like Jem. Jem's another Chelsea fan. Let me know when you're there, Jem.
Yes, hello.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Not bad, bro. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. What are you here to talk about? Obviously, I know Chelsea had a great game last night. Olivier Giroud, North London derby on the horizon. United, knockout football straight away for them. What's on your mind?
2 things, really. Fred should have been sent off. If you look at Nicolas Pepe's headbutt against Leeds, it wasn't any better. Do you know what I mean? It didn't look any better. For me, Fred should have been sent off ages ago. And Ollie should have took him off, to be honest. He shouldn't have left him on. You could see he was getting a bit rash throughout the game, and they should have just took him off. But yeah, I think Man United was slightly unlucky, a bit against the run of play, but it is what it is. But with Chelsea, 4-0, 4-0 win, very impressive. 15-match unbeaten run. We move on, and it's nice to have finished top of the group comfortably, which we all expected us to do. But yeah, we roll on the weekend now. I think we've got Leeds, so yeah, big match against them that I'm looking forward to.
Have you been when it comes to Chelsea? Have you been impressed with how quickly you've gelled as a unit? 7, 8 new players have come in the summer. The integration appears to be really, really quick. In your opinion, how much better can you become this season? Can you win major trophies?
We're on the route. We're on the right route. Yes, they've gelled very quickly. You've got to bear in mind a lot of them players that I thought would be starting in our starting 11 in Pulisic and Havertz have sort of missed games, been in and out. So yeah, it's going to be interesting from now on because we've got a fully fit squad. I think Lampard's got a bit of a test really to suss out who starts, who don't. Because after yesterday's performance, I thought everyone played very, very well. So yeah, we're gelling well. New boys have gelled quicker than I expected. I thought it was going to take us to at least December/January, but it hasn't been the case. And I just want to see, like I said, I want to see Timo Werner back in his position now. I want to see Pulisic playing off the left. I want to see Ziyech. I want to see this combination, taking off. But then it's just like, you look at someone like Giroud, who banged in 4 goals yesterday, and in all fairness, should really be allowed to start games. And then you think to yourself, would you do a Timo Werner? Because, we spent money in this guy. He's the guy that's going to be the longevity at the club. Giroud isn't. There's the opportunity that Giroud might be gone next season. Like, what do you do? Do you know what I mean? And it's a sticky situation for Frank Lampard to pick and choose who he thinks needs to start.
Yeah, but it's such a great problem, isn't it? When you look at Chelsea, these are problems that even Liverpool and City will be slightly jealous of. That you have such riches in attack. You can go 3 players deep in pretty much every attacking position. And of course, there's duplicate players because Werner can play centrally and on the left. But you're 3 players deep in every position, which is just amazing. You look at Man United right now. I think Martial needs a rest. The problem is there isn't anybody really to bring in for him. We've got sort of a good handful of good players in those areas, very good players. But then you start to go beneath that, and there's less. Like you've got Hudson-Odoi as a backup, where we have Dan James.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard. There isn't a comparison, so I think that puts yourselves in such a strong position. It really does.
To be honest, watching Martial yesterday, I do still think his best position is off the wing. I don't think he's a natural striker. Hasn't got the movement. He's good with the ball at his feet, but when you're asking him to make runs and drag sort of defenders here, there, and everywhere, I don't think that's his game. So I think you should be playing him more off the wings anyway. I think Edison Cavani is your best out-and-out striker that you got. What do you think about that?
Yes, Edison Cavani is, even at the age that you saw it yesterday, very unlucky not to score would have been one of the best goals in the Champions League this season with that chip. Unlucky, and Martial should have buried the follow-up, but no, I hear you on that. Jem, my man, thank you very much for calling the show and having your say. Thank you very much, buddy. We have Cam calling in very, very soon. Cam's giving us a bell here. He's a Spurs fan. He's going to be talking about the North London derby. He's calling it any minute now. We're going to get him on the air. There's a comment a minute ago from Niall in the live chat who said, which English team is going the furthest in the Champions League? I'm going to put a little outside bet now on Chelsea. I think too many people have slept on Chelsea this year. I think too many people have disrespected Frank Lampard. I think they're going to do bits. And they're going to get better and better and stronger and stronger. And of course, their last loss came against Liverpool. And that was when they had barely any of their new players in the team. They hadn't gelled at that point. They're on a great run. And they're making tracks. We can't, you just cannot deny them at this moment in time. It's looking very, very good indeed. We've got Cam on the line now. Cam is a Tottenham fan. How are you, mate?
Morning, Terry. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm very, very well. A big game for you this weekend, North London derby, Arsenal.
Yeah.
I mean, probably, I'm not guessing your age here, but maybe the worst Arsenal team you've seen in your lifetime. You must be licking your lips at the prospects of playing them.
Yeah, you've absolutely nailed it there, Terry. Yeah, so I'm not as young or old as you may think, but yeah, over the years, Arsenal game has always been one that Spurs fans, despite where we are in the league, it's sort of, it will put a cherry on top of the season, you know. And this Spurs team that we see right now and this Arsenal team, I don't think I've seen a disparity like it ever.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, your age isn't really the key. My dad is a Spurs fan. He's 60 something plus that. Sorry, Dad. And I think in his whole lifetime, Arsenal have always been better. It's such an interesting weekend because they just can't score. Arsenal, they can't defend, they can't pass the ball. And do you know what I really like? The sub narrative to this is it's practically 12 months since Jose's been in charge, and practically 12 months since Arteta's been there. And do you remember that Arsenal were heavily linked with Jose Mourinho? And they ended up going for Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
And they went for Mikel Arteta. Football has this beautiful romantic habit of writing these scripts. So not only is it the North London derby, not only are you top of the league and they are 14th, practically in a relegation fight, you've got this notion of they went for the new young pretender, and Tottenham went for the sort of elder statesman who was supposedly finished, Jose Mourinho. It's just got so many moving parts on it. And if Tottenham win, and I'm sure you're confident you can, I don't even know how to explain it. It's going to be an epic weekend with a Tottenham victory.
Yeah, well, like you said, I'm fairly confident of a victory. But you look at the game we had just now this weekend against Chelsea, and many people say, you know, oh, you didn't get the win, you didn't get the result you were after. I'm thinking Mourinho went there for a draw, to be honest. The way we set up, within the first 30 minutes, you could tell from Kane and Son that it just wasn't going to be their day. To be fair and give credit to Chelsea, they kind of took them out of the game. But I think Jose Mourinho really was happy with a draw, going to his old gaff, you know, up against Frank, who we know he's had issues with. I really feel like it was a tactical masterclass, especially on a day where your team's not playing the best. And I'm looking at Arsenal right now, and I honestly don't think a single one of their players makes the team, like in any of the positions. And I can't remember a team like that. I mean, obviously, especially pre-Poch, you know, I can't think of a single an Arsenal team where a player hasn't been able to, you know, where you've even just thought about it. I'm not across the pitch. There's not one. And I think when you're talking about managers, name a better manager than Jose Mourinho. I mean, you'd be hard to find one unless he manages Man City or Liverpool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about the Arsenal situation there. I don't think they get a player in your team. They've got Aubameyang, who's very good, but he is off the boil this season. Thomas Partey, he hasn't played. We don't really know how good he's going to be in the Premier League just yet. And on the Jose Mourinho,
Terry, I know you're a big England fan, right?
Yes.
What do you make of Gareth Southgate playing Bakary Saka for England? This guy shouldn't even be playing for the under-21. What's he doing putting an England shirt on?
To what I say about that, I rate Saka. I think he's a very talented lad. I was a little shocked by the praise he got playing for England, in the sense of people saying he was man of the match in one of the games. I thought he was bang average in the games. I couldn't quite understand the hype about his performances for England. I thought he did okay, if that makes sense. I thought it was... I think, yeah, he's an interesting one because he burst on the scene last year. He got a lot of assists in the Europa League, a few in the Premier League. I think he's had a bang average season this year for Arsenal. And I actually feel worried about him because he is almost put up now as he's a must start for Arsenal because there isn't anybody else. And I think they're going to run the risk of burning him out and putting too much pressure on his young shoulders. You know, no club should be relying on their kids to be the superstars, to be the match winners. And he's certainly under a lot of pressure. I mean, you don't care about this, you're a Spurs fan, but I feel really sorry for Martinelli when he comes back. Because there is this, he's going to come back, he's going to hit the ground running, we'll be fine in an attacking sense once Martinelli's here. He's what, 19? He's 19 years of age. They're putting all this pressure upon him. Arsenal fans have got to calm down. Like I said it yesterday, I stand by this. Arsenal Football Club and the fans need to chill. Tell you why, they are a mid-table club now. If you go through their players, they've got a couple of stars in there, okay? But outside of that, their squad is bang average. Man United are not a great team at the moment. We are in front of them by a country mile.
I was going to say, Terry. I was going to say, mate.
No, we're not, but we're better. But the point I'm making is we're well in front of them. Over the next 7-8 games in the Premier League, we'll be 9 or so points in front of them. Tottenham, Chelsea, 12 plus points in front. They will find themselves a long way away from the traditional top 6. Arsenal fans have just got to calm themselves down and realise they have become a mid-table team. And that's a fact. They finished 8th last year. They're currently in 14th. And when you've watched the matches, they don't deserve to be any higher. There is no sign that Arsenal are turning this round. And that's why it's a must-win for Tottenham come this weekend. They have to. This weekend, they have to go out there and do it. They've got to do it for football. It is great. The world, right, has been in lockdown for pretty much a year. Christmas is going to be tough. There's lots of people that are not happy in the world. Spurs beating Arsenal this weekend is medicine. It's absolute medicine for the world. We get to sit back. We get to football terrace and chill. We always have a great call-in show when Arsenal lose matches. I can't wait for it.
There's going to be some fans as well, aren't there? There's going to be some fans in the ground.
Yes, some. Yes, there will be. So,
I mean, what a game to bring fans back, right?
Absolutely. I'm so excited about this football match this weekend. And look, look, Man United are not going to win the league. I don't support any other team outside of United. I'd love Tottenham to go on and win the league because my dad's a Spurs fan and I'd like him to sort of experience that if it makes sense. But just along the way, if they can stick the knife into to Arsenal a little bit more, that would be absolutely amazing. And on Jose Mourinho quickly, I mean, I was someone, I've been called out on some videos recently on socials for saying that he was finished. And people would take my words out of context. I said mentally I thought he was, but if a club can make him happy again, Jose becomes a very dangerous man again. And I think Daniel Levy has got that spot on. And I'm getting Milan and Porto vibes with Jose at Tottenham, which I didn't get when he was at Chelsea the second time, Real Madrid or Manchester United. And I got one thing that annoyed me about my club when we had Jose was if you bring Jose in, he has to have full control and you basically got to give him what he wants. Because if you keep him happy, he's the best manager in the world. And Daniel Levy understands this. Daniel Levy is doing an absolutely banging job of keeping Jose on side. As soon as you make Jose upset, he becomes like he did at Man United. He becomes toxic. He becomes sort of distant from his team. He doesn't become a very nice person in a professional sense, and it falls apart. So there's an answer to that. Give him what he wants. I know Man United fans won't want to hear this.
No, I agree with you, Terry. I think what the difference between the United and Spurs situation, I think, would be. I think he even said it in the documentary. I don't know if you've seen it, but he basically said to Kane, he's like, your team is better than the Man United team. I already can tell from the squad of players. I feel like even though he's managing Spurs, which is obviously, look, I'm a Spurs fan. I'd love to think, we are the biggest club in the world, and for me, we are. But obviously, Manchester United, how can you go from Manchester United and then to Spurs and honestly say that they have the better squad and it's the easier job or whatever? I think that helped. I think him walking in, having Harry Kane, probably one of the, if not the best striker in the world, in his team. You got Heung-min Son probably finding form at the exact right time and the right moment. The only thing he really needed to sort out at Spurs was our defence, which originally, not even too long ago, was statistically the best defence in the Premier League under Pochettino.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main difference. I think Jose Mourinho, like you said, has been given what he wants at Spurs, and I think signings like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg at the end of the season are probably going to turn out to be, wicked bits of business. I really do. I think he's going to be one of the most underrated signings of the season. He's completely changed our midfield and allowed players like Ndombele to really start playing the football that we know he can play.
No, I agree with you, and I think that I look at the Dele Alli situation, and I think of it and I compare it to the Pogba and the Martial situation at Man United, and this should be a wake-up call for people. I love both those players. I love Martial. I love Pogba. I love the fact they're still at my club. I would love the Pogba situation to be resolved and for him to stay. But the most important thing for me is my football club winning matches and trophies. And the club pulling the rug from under Jose Mourinho's feet and not allowing him to sell those two players is what is another reason that it become chaos and we went backwards again as a football club. When you look at the situation with Ndombele and with Dele Alli, Jose for me went in with exactly the same approach as he did with Pogba and with Martial. There was criticism, there was high standards set, there was a bit of public criticism, but the club allowed him to do it. And I think internally, Daniel Levy has made it very clear to the players, maybe not in direct terms, but just so they know that, listen, I don't care if any of you want to throw your toys out, Jose is doing what he wants within reason to this squad. And there's been no pushback. The players are on board and everybody's on fire. And as soon as you pull that rug from under Jose's feet, things are ruined. If he turns around tomorrow and says, listen, I want to bring in Joe Bloggs in central midfield and Ndombele's got to go, Daniel Levy's going to say yes and keep him happy and keep the squad and the unit together. And that's where Man United went wrong. And I think there could be some painful times ahead for Man United fans if Tottenham become a powerhouse, if they start winning major trophies under Jose Mourinho. And we look back and go, do you know what? Was it really worth keeping player X for this, and losing Jose Mourinho, where he's gone elsewhere, been given what he wants, and then he wins major trophies. And back to the point that Kobe came on and made earlier, Man United fans are always on the attack. It's because we now have a lot of, I don't know, we've got modern day football fans. Maybe it's sort of the Americanization of our game where people support players more than they support clubs. I know for a fact, I'd say it's 20-30%.
It's the NBA way.
Yeah, it's for me. Look, my dad's a Spurs fan. I grew up a United fan. It's his fault. He had 5 boys. He let us all pick our own teams. I think he's crazy. My kids have all been forced into being United fans. It's the only thing in the world I force them into. But it's like, I support my club, and I love Pogba, I love Martial, I love Rashford. But I don't care if any of them leave, if any of them are on the bench, as long as we go on to win major trophies. And I think that's where we went wrong with him. And I'm fearful of what Jose Mourinho is going to do at Tottenham, because him as a happy man, he's the best manager in the world. Listen, Klopp and Pep are amazing, but Jose's different gravy. And if he wins a Premier League with Tottenham or a Champions League with Tottenham, you could argue that it's one of the best achievements in Premier League history. Maybe even his best achievement.
I mean, it's hard to keep my smile back right now with you saying stuff like that, Terry. But I must err on the side of caution. I've been a Spurs fan long enough to know that we have this way of becoming Spursy, as people like to say, or bottle jobs. So, as a Spurs fan, I'd like personally for us to just fly under the radar and be, grab it in the last weekend or so. But in classic Spurs style, we're top. And it's only, start December. We've got a few tough fixtures coming up. I reckon if Spurs can get through Christmas, then I think that the picture will look a little clearer. We've got Liverpool away, we've got Leicester at home. Obviously, this Arsenal game, and I think after Christmas, with everyone's jam-packed schedule, if Jose can sort of grind out these results and get through them, then. Ask me again in January, Terry, if we're going to win the league.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's very easy for me to say as a United fan, because if it goes wrong, I'll just laugh at you. It's as simple as that. We'll all have that banter with it. But the Christmas period, I think, is key, because then we're practically halfway through the season and we'll really know. And it's like with Chelsea. If you and Chelsea come through this next 6 games and you're there or thereabouts, we've got a 3-horse race, in my opinion. And I'll be a neutral from that to an extent as a Man United fan. And I want a title race this year. It'd be nice to have a title race, a little top 4 race, a good relegation battle, including Arsenal, and we can kind of go from there. But Cam, I really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say.
No, not at all, Terry. Cheers for having me.
All the best, not a problem at all. Take care, thank you.
Cheers, take care, mate. Bye bye.
Take care, bye bye. That was Cam there. Good thoughts there. It's great to speak to some new voices on the show as well. I know man like Aaron is going to be coming on very, very soon as well. I'm going to give him a tinkle, get him on the air to come and have his say. We know Aaron's a big United fan. Hit that like button. Everybody tuning in right now on Give Me Sport Live. It's great talking to you this morning. Really enjoying it. You can call in by contacting us on the Discord server. I've shared that in the comment section multiple times, to share it now. And after you're done here on Give Me Sport, please come and check us out on YouTube, The Football Terrace. Just search it with the only one. Come and subscribe to us. It'd mean a great deal to us if you could. I've got Aaron on the line now. I think. Aaron, you there? Oh, he's muted.
Yes,
me.
I'm there, man.
There he is. Aaron is with us. Aaron's a United fan. What do you want to say, mate?
Mate, I still feel I'm fuming after last night's loss, man, because I just feel like, apart from the opportunities that we missed, because we should have buried the game. I mean, I'm thinking about the Cavani opportunity, the Martial one. I think there was an opportunity where Bruno headed the ball as well. That was straight after the red card, but I feel like we could have avoided the loss by just making one change at halftime. We could have avoided losing to PSG at home, because now we went confident into the game thinking, okay, we should win this game, but a point is enough. We went from that to, okay, we need a point against Leipzig, but do you know what I'm saying? We're kind of scared that if we do lose, it's back to the Europa League. So
yeah,
we've made things a whole lot more difficult for ourselves, man. We're having to go into next week's game with a full strength team. We're going to have to. There's going to be no excuses. We have to play our strongest team against Leipzig, because if we don't, for example, if he leaves Pogba and Van de Beek on the bench again, then we can forget about it. So I'm just really, really frustrated, because I feel like, as much as I think certain players should have performed better, that one change could have avoided all of that. I mean, every 5-year-old could have predicted that red card was coming, man. As soon as I saw the team walk out on the pitch for that second half, and I saw Fred was still on, I was like, yeah, he's getting that red card, unless Ollie takes him off maybe after 60 or something. So yeah, it's just really frustrating, man. I can't. That's the feeling that I have.
No, I understand that. I do get it. And I did feel the red card was coming. I mean, interestingly, I read a statistic last night that it's like 1 or less than 1% of players that are booked get sent off in football. So there is that element from Ollie's point of view where, well, it's highly unlikely that he gets sent off still as long as he keeps his head. But at the same time, we know Fred. And I think that there's those two things that go on simultaneously at the same time. And lots of mistakes were made last night. And I think what made it worse is that it wasn't a bad performance. We created chances, and I just felt, forget the yellow card for a minute. We were opening them up because they were leaving players forward. Neymar and Mbappe weren't getting back. I just looked at him and thought, bring on Donny, or more so bring on Pogba for Fred, and just let him spray those balls into those spaces on the counter, and we've got them. Forget the red card. It just felt like the right thing to do technically and tactically, but it didn't happen. But you know, we're not out, and that's the great thing. I think we can get a result against Leipzig. It's going to be tough, but we can get a result against them. It's just going to be, I don't know. For me, I love it and I hate it. I'd rather it be Chelsea, City, or Liverpool in a knockout situation in a group game now, rather than us. But at the same time, I am a little bit excited about it.
I'm not, man, because we don't perform well under pressure, and we've shown it multiple times. And I am gonna be here and say I am gonna blame Ollie more than the players, not because of the whole. I'm not gonna say he's you know what I mean, like teacher and whatnot, because people keep saying that. But what I am saying is basic managerial skills. Like, you know, a player is on a yellow card, and I'm gonna compare it to another situation to make it more sense. To make it make more sense, yeah. When we played Istanbul away, remember that? We played Istanbul away, and Axel Tuanzebe got a yellow card. What did Ollie do at halftime? Did he not take him off? Took him off. What was his reasoning? He was on a yellow, and I didn't want to risk it. So why are you not doing the same thing?
Again, I think that's where you get too drawn in, Aaron. We've only got a minute left before this stream literally cuts off and ends. I think you've been a bit too drawn in again to what Ollie says. The reason he took Tuanzebe off was because Tuanzebe was getting stripped, in my opinion. Rather than saying I took him off because he was playing badly, he will just say I took him off because he was on a yellow card. I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, the reason we lost that game against Istanbul was simply because our players messed up as well. And Ollie does have to take a certain amount of the blame, and I don't even mind him getting more of the blame, but we do have to look at Fred's ill discipline and Martial's misses. But it's going to be big. Aaron, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. We've only got 30 seconds left of the show. Really appreciate it, my man. Thank you very, very much. Everyone who's tuned in this morning, thank you. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Make sure you're going to like the Give Me Sport page if you haven't done so already. And come check us out. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Just search the Football Terrace. The link for that is in the comment section, or just go onto YouTube and do that. Man like Joel from Cheeky Sport just joined my Discord server. Big up yourself, brother. Absolute legend of the game out there. Thank you all. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.